The woman unhesitatingly threw away her husband's bank card. Then she resolutely left the house. She then voluntarily entered hypnosis. She chose to forget everything about her past with her husband. The reason the woman was so determined was that her husband's heart had always belonged to his white moonlight. At their wedding just a few months ago, not a single one of the woman's friends or family attended. The guests in the audience mocked the woman. They said the couple was mismatched. Just when the woman didn't know what to do, her husband stepped forward and protected her. In that moment, the woman thought marrying this man was the best choice of her life. Unexpectedly, after receiving a phone call, without saying a word, he took the woman to the hospital. It wasn't until she saw the husband's white moonlight in the hospital bed that the woman realized her husband's heart never belonged to her. She saw the white moonlight wave her hand. The husband ignored his wife and immediately went forward to care for the white moonlight. When the white moonlight's condition worsened, the husband no longer pretended. He openly said he hoped the woman would donate a kidney to the white moonlight. The woman was stunned and stood there in shock. Only then did she realize her husband had never loved her. The kindness he had shown her was all for the sake of saving the white moonlight. So, the woman immediately refused her husband's request. Unable to accept all of this, the woman returned home and started packing her bags to leave. At this moment, her husband suddenly came back. To stop her from leaving, he promised that everything he had would be hers. He only hoped that she could save the white moonlight. Because the woman loved her husband too much, she was unwilling to leave like this. In order to win her husband's love, she chose to save the white moonlight, but only if her husband stayed the night. Thus, the two of them slept together. The next day, the woman signed the donation agreement without hesitation. She hoped that by doing so, she could keep her husband. However, a month later, the woman unexpectedly found out she was pregnant. She wanted to ask her husband to stop her from donating a kidney to the white moonlight for the sake of the child. So, she called her husband. When no one answered, she sent him a message about her pregnancy. At that moment, the husband was caring for the white moonlight. He didn't pay attention to the phone ringing nonstop. At that moment, as the man went out, the white moonlight took the opportunity to sneak a look at his phone and discovered the woman's pregnancy. But in order to save herself, she deleted the messages and call logs. The woman, filled with joy, was instead met by doctors who came to take her for the kidney donation surgery. The woman was incredulous and cried out, wanting to find her husband. At that moment, the husband appeared in front of her. The husband, unaware of the pregnancy, didn't listen to her explanation. Instead, he ordered the doctor to inject an unknown liquid into her. When the woman woke up again, she was already lying in a hospital bed. Faced with her husband's gestures of goodwill, she chose to ignore him. At this point, she had completely lost faith in her husband. She decisively chose to take medication to terminate the pregnancy. After the surgery, the woman went to the hypnotist. She chose to erase all memories of her husband. After the session, she handed the hypnotist her husband's phone, then fainted. She then called her husband. She said that the woman was with him and asked the man to come and pick her up. After hanging up the phone, the man rushed to the location. When he saw his wife laughing and talking with another man, he immediately became angry. He questioned his wife, asking why she had snuck out. To